Yesterday, during an interview regarding the ceasefire between Iran and Israel, Mark Carney was asked if he thought there could be lasting peace in the Middle East. His answer was that he hoped for a Zionist Palestine state. His exact wording was Palestinians living side by side in security with Israel, a Zionist, if you will, Palestinian state that recognizes the right of Israel not just to exist, but to prosper and not live in fear. We can't have peace unless we move towards that. Yes, Mark Carney, we all want that. Israel has wanted it since 1937. It is the Arabs who do not want it, have never wanted it, and who need to be pressured now to accept it. Peace has not been prevented by a lack of earnest negotiating teams or unwillingness on Israel's part to make concessions or to offer land for peace. Peace has been prevented because the mindset and ideology of the Arabs then and the Palestinians now is both the right of return and superiority to inferior Jews. Jews and Arabs were both offered self-determination in the 1937 Peel Commission Partition Plan, and again in the 1947 United Nations Partition Plan. Jews accepted both plans and Arabs did not. For the entire length of the Ottoman Empire, from 1516 to 1917, Muslims had ruled over Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. They were all viewed as dhimmis, people who are socially and politically inferior to Muslims. The Peel Commission in 1937 was rejected by Arabs because they wanted Jews kept as dhimmis within an Arab state. 11.5 million kilometers square were to be awarded as Arab lands, while Jews were to be given a mere 15,000 kilometers square. Arabs said no, Jews said yes. It wasn't about the deal then, and it isn't about the deal now. The British Foreign Secretary in 1947 was Ernest Bevin. He reported that for Jews, the essential point of principle was the creation of a sovereign Jewish state. For Arabs, the essential point was to resist to the last the establishment of a Jewish state. In fact, Azam Pasha, the Secretary General of the Arab League from 1945 to 1952, declared in 1947 that if Jews were awarded a state, a war would break out and would be a war of extermination and momentous massacre. In March 1948, Grand Mufti Haj Amin al-Husseini urged Muslims to continue to fight until Jews were eliminated and the whole of Palestine was an Arab state. That mindset continues today. War did break out in 1948, 1967, 1973, over and over until October 7th and continuing today. Each time, it has been the hateful mindset of the Arabs then or the Palestinians now that has prevented lasting peace and has never changed. In 1949, Syria's United Nations ambassador declared war with Zionism as the foundation stone of Arab states' foreign policy. Any member state of the Arab League to negotiate or conclude a peace treaty, military or economic agreement with Israel would be withdrawn from the League. Israel put forth the Gaza Plan in the summer of 1949. If Egypt, who governed Gaza, would give Gaza to Israel in exchange for land in the Negev, then Israel would make all the Arabs living in Gaza Israeli citizens. Israel committed to take care of the settlement and rehabilitation of all Arabs in Gaza. Bet you didn't know that. If the Arabs had only said yes then, we wouldn't be here now. That plan was rejected. So Israel put forth the 100,000 plan, whereby Israel offered to absorb 100,000 refugees living in Gaza in the context of a peace treaty. Again, that plan was rejected by the Arabs. American diplomats at the time said that the Egyptians had a complete indifference to the fate of the Gazan refugees. A senior UNRWA rep said Arab leaders do not give a damn whether the refugees live or die. It has always been about sacrificing the Arab or Palestinian people in the name of jihad against Israel. The leaders of the Palestinians see the Gazans as less important than not recognizing the Israeli state. What Mark Carney is missing when he casually says he hopes for a Zionist Palestine is that so does Israel. They want it now, and they've wanted it for 80 years, and so do the United States. In September of 1949, Harry Truman suggested that Gordon Clapp, who had been the head of the Tennessee Valley Authority during Roosevelt's New Deal and had rehabilitated the Tennessee Valley, could do the same thing on the Jordan River. Not one Arab leader would meet with him because they didn't want to settle their refugees. The return to Israel was considered the only way to erase the humiliation of military defeat. The Arab people were refugees, could not be resettled or move on in peace because that would mean recognizing Israel, something Arabs then and Palestinians now refuse to do. It is time for the whole world to stop pressuring Israel to make peace and start forcing Palestinians to make peace, to get on with their lives, to settle the eternal hereditary refugees of 1948, and finally accept Israel. All diplomacy should be focused on pushing Hamas and Fatah to make peace. To imply both sides need to strive for peace is unfair and does not acknowledge the very many times Israel has said yes and Palestine has said no.